Hi, I'm Ayala and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a few different things. I'm going to be talking about me a little bit. I'm going to be talking about why my YouTube channel even got started in the first place. And I'm going to be going into the vision that I have for my channel. So the first part is a little bit about me. So I'm Ayala of the House of Ashar. And a few years ago, we ended up getting married and we went through the process of trying to have a baby. So before I get started into the whole story, I'm going to read the scripture in Sirach 40:1. It says, "Great travail is created for every man, and an heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam, from the day that they go out of their mother's womb till the day that they return to the mother of all things." So I know that everybody's going to have their trials and tribulations. So I'm not making this like a woe is me type of story. I already know that things are going to happen, right? So we tried a few times, and every single time we ended up having miscarriages. And we didn't know why, and none of my doctors knew why. And so it was just one of those things, we just wait a little bit, we would try again, wait a little bit, try again, and it will always lead to a miscarriage. So eventually, a couple of years ago, I ended up having my fifth miscarriage. And this was in a 2-year span. So we were trying, but it was never working out. So on that day that I had the fifth miscarriage, something went wrong with my pelvic region. We were trying to go to different doctors, try to figure out what was going on, because it was the worst pain that I've ever felt. And it caused me to have a hard time with sitting and standing as well. So, and even walking. And nobody could explain it. So at the time I was still having difficulty, but it was kind of on a smaller scale. And this was around the time that I started this YouTube channel, like way back, a year ago or whatever. So I ended up getting pregnant again in the midst of all the pelvic pain that I was having. I ended up getting pregnant again. And so over the course of the pregnancy, my pelvis had separated, basically, pubis symphysis separation. And so during the course my pregnancy continued, one of my pelvic bones or sides, whatever, lifted up and the other one was down like this. So my pelvis was uneven and it led to more difficulty with standing, sitting, walking, stuff like that. And I made it through the pregnancy, all praise to the Most High, had a baby, and went to go try to get some care, finally, after like a year and some change. So when I finally went to go get care, I got told basically that what I went through with the pelvis separation and shifting was pretty normal. So I was like, okay. And the way that the person explained it to me seemed like it was routine and that they could shift me back into alignment manually. So I said, okay, seems pretty easy. Let's go ahead and do it. And that was my first mistake. So I allowed this person to work on me, and they end up doing some maneuver, and basically it led to my spine being collapsed in 6 areas. It led to one of my joints in my back being swollen, and basically my nerves are compressed in the lower areas of my back, so there's like no space. Along with that, I have torn leg muscles, torn thigh muscles. So my mobility, which at first I was able to use a walker, like with the pelvis thing, because I used to have to like hold my pelvis and stuff, I would have a hard time walking, but now I'm fully dependent on my walker. My leg muscles, like my legs don't really stretch out or like step as a normal person would. I have very small, narrow movements. And though they did shift my pelvis back into alignment, thankfully, I have issues, like I was saying, that, and also I forgot that there are some torn pelvic muscles, of course. So some of the things that I'm hearing is that some of them are permanent. So some of them can be worked on, some of the issues can be worked on, because some of them are like muscular type of things. And then some of them are permanent, like the spine thing and stuff like that. So I'm pretty much disabled instantly that fast. And I've been trying to get help as far as rectifying the situation. And it's not going well for me. I'll just be honest. It's not going well because a lot of people are not understanding that this was caused if it doesn't result in a death or something that's more serious, complicated. Because if they say you're too young, you can bounce back. And it's been quite some time and I'm not bouncing back. But my life has taken like this whole turn that I never expected. So here I am, sitting here now, with a peace of mind, trying to come to acceptance that this is my new reality. So that is a little bit about me. My recovery is going okay, but due to certain limits, it's like an increment, so it is what it is. I'm just gonna be positive about that and see how that takes me from here on out. Why my page got started. First scripture I want to read is Ecclesiasticus, 33:27. It says, "Send him to labor that he be not idle, for idleness teacheth much evil." So the reason I bring this up is because due to my new disability, I was on bed rest for the past almost 2 years. It was almost 2 years. I've been on bed rest up until the point that I just got hip injections to deal with my pelvic region because it was that unbearable to deal with. It was hard to sit, stand, walk, lay down, you name it, everything, cook, clean, whatever. It was hard, right? It was messing with me because I'm more of like an active person. I'm more of like, I have to get stuff done. Like I want to do this and this and this and this. Every day is like active. But when you're forced to be on bed rest or you have no choice due to health that you're on bed rest, it messes with your mind, right? And you start to think, I could be doing this and that, but your body won't allow you, obviously. And that was me. So a lot of times I would try to push myself and be like, okay, I can try to go to the store real quick, or I could try to cook a meal real quick, or I could do, and it got to the point where I couldn't even do those things. I was having difficulty and I needed people to come and help me to do those things. And basically that idleness, I started to look at life negatively, feel bad, of course, depressed about my situation, and none of that is good. What I was already doing was being a homemaker. So like cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids and stuff like that. And it's a joy to do them. So this scripture taught me that even though I was still able to do some things, I was doing good by doing those things. I was able to get a lot accomplished, even though I was feeling like I was dying in pain. And it didn't matter what medicine my doctor prescribed to me. It did not matter. I've gone through so many medicines in these past 2 years. Nothing was working until, like I said, I just got hip injections. And then finally, that's like some relief. That's finally some relief. So life has been hard. Another thing, my page got started because the scripture that is in Matthew 25, verses 13 through 28, it goes into exchanging of talents, right? And I already knew that I wanted to do certain things in my life. I wanted to be good at a lot of different areas. But I always would be like, I don't have time. And lo and behold, I had time. And I was like, okay, this is a perfect time to get on these books, get on these YouTube videos, get on every source of knowledge that I could. And that's what I started off doing until that pain caught up with me. Because even when I started like months ago, I want to say it was a year ago or whenever that was, when I first was talking about, okay, you guys, we're going to do this video, we're going to do this challenge, and we're going to do this channel and this and that. And I was very optimistic. my pain went downhill real fast. So I was like, okay, I can't even do this. I can't even do this. So that's why it was like spaces between my videos. That's why I wasn't doing nothing. And now things are different, like I said, because I got hip injections. My back is still killing me. My legs are still killing me, but I at least have some relief. I have some relief right now. But anyway, but exchange no challenge, right? So I was like, okay, if I can be using this time to get better at a skill or evaluating how useful I can be, because I always felt like I'm useless, I can't do anything, what can I do? Now is a perfect time to build and hone in on my hobbies, on my interests, and every other thing that I have been aspiring to do for the longest time. This will be a perfect time for that. There's another scripture in Ecclesiasticus. It is 38:24. And it says, "The wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure, and he that hath little business shall become wise." 2 years ago, when this stuff first started, my sitting limit was 2 hours. And then before I got the hip injections, my sitting limit was 15 minutes. And that was as much as I could take at one part. And then I have to get up and move. And then I would sit down and I had to get up and move. But it's not like I just get up and I stand up and walk around and I'm okay. It's like the weight of my pelvis and back and legs and everything will still slowly start to creep up in pain even if I was active. So it's like the lesser of two things, you see what I'm saying? It wasn't like just sitting or standing up or shifting position was like, oh, it's relieving, now I feel better. It's like, no, you sit for too long, your pelvis is like, get off of me, I can't handle it. And then you get up and your body's still like, okay, you're standing, but we can't handle it. And then you got to shift back. So that's the way I was living. But in the midst of all of this, it reminded me of something that I heard from one of my sisters. She says, even if you dedicate 20 or 30 minutes to your hobby a day, whether it's reading a book or watching a video or studying anything about it, that's better than the days that you spend where you haven't done any of that. And I could spare 20 minutes or 30 minutes to a hobby, at least right now, right? Last scripture on that part is where I got my YouTube name from. So this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 31. It says, "Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates." So when I was thinking about a name for my YouTube channel, I did not know what I was going to go with, obviously. And at the time, I had to evaluate, okay, everything hurts. Like legs hurt, my feet hurt, my back hurts, my pelvic hurt, everything hurts. And I was like, my hands don't hurt. That's probably the only thing, because I even have headaches from this pain. So like everything hurts, but my hands do not hurt. And at the time, it was more of a joke because I was just like, that's probably the only thing that doesn't hurt. But I mean, I have other things that don't hurt. But like at the time, it was like, let me find something with hands. Let me think about something like that. Because actually everything I'm going to be doing, I'm going to need my hands for. And thankfully they are not impaired. So I was like, okay, this is a perfect time to look for something like that. So when I heard the scripture and read the scripture, I was like, you know what? That makes sense. Because I had a few names rolling around, but this one, it was the best one. Because I was just like, that makes perfect sense. Everything that I'm going to be doing is like the fruit of my hands. And so that's where the name came from. I know it may not seem like much, but it just inspired me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go with that. The ideas for my channel. So another scripture, Ecclesiasticus chapter 4 and verse 23. It says, "And refrain not to speak when there is occasion to do good, and hide not thy wisdom in her beauty." Nobody would ever know what I'm about if all I do is think and imagine on these things. Obviously, I'm supposed to be showing them. It could be something to look back on to be like, okay, I was at this point in time then, And this is how I've progressed, because I can do updates as far as health issues, or like just sharing some tip, even if you just take that bit and you grow on it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. My only call to action, I guess I would put out, is that you support my channel by watching it. I'm not asking for any money. I'm not asking for any donations. I don't even have a GoFundMe or anything like that. Like, I'm not planning on making one. But I'm just asking that you support my channel by watching it, sharing it, liking it, commenting on it, so that way we can keep this thing going. I'm just saying, just watch it. Just check it out from time to time. Please continue to watch. Thank you for